Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we are going to draw the World Watercolor Month sketch together. I've actually done a few, and I don't know why I ended up, you know what, I think it was a smudge on the first page. So I'm kind of working a little bit out of order, but I want to make sure on this one where I'm filming my pages aren't going to flop, so I'm actually flipping a couple pages in. The sketchbook was made by my friend Rosie, and she has an Etsy shop called Artsy Rosie, and I'll link that down below if you would like a hand-bound book with Arches watercolor paper. I really enjoyed these sketchbooks. And I also want to let you know that I am running my yearly birthday sale. Every year on my birthday, I run a sale in my Teachable School, and I give you my age as a percentage off. So I'm 46 this year, so if you use a coupon code HB46, I'll put it in the video description, you will save 46% on any class that you like in my Teachable School. And I only run this sale once a year, so, and it will go through, I think I'll keep the coupon up until Tuesday. So, today is the 6th, and it will go through next Tuesday. I think that's the 12th. So, my birthday's on the 10th. It'll give you a couple days either side. I like to make sure I kind of hit my birthday a few days before and after, because that way people will kind of know when to expect it. I'm sketching with a Prismacolor Col Erase pencil in the color lavender, so it's kind of like a light purple color. And I'm doing the World Watercolor Month prompt today, which is welcome. And you may be thinking, Lindsay, what the heck are you drawing that is supposed to be for welcome? And I got to this in a little bit of a roundabout way. When I think of like welcome, I think of hospitality. I think of, you know, having someone over, fixing them a drink, whether it's a cup of tea or coffee, or something stronger. And I've had this photo in my Unsplash, one of my Unsplash collections for quite a while, and I just really like it. It was this lavender lemonade, and I thought that would be, what a perfect thing to sip in the summer on your front porch. You know, I just thought that would be just really perfect. Now, I'm using the Col Erase pencils. You can erase them. Ooh, hopefully that eraser's good. I also like the Arteza Kids erasable pencils. I don't really like the Col Erase erasers, to be honest. Those are really nice too, and they are very affordable, but they're only available in sets. But Col Erase, actually, the Prismacolor ones they're discontinuing their open stock. So if there's like one color that you use of Col Erase and you don't use any of the other colors, if you want to like get a box of red, or you want to get, you know, a few blue, or whatever it is, the color that you use the most, I usually just go with what's going to work with my composition. I would recommend that you you don't delay, and you see if you can get them if you're interested in having them open stock. You know what? I think I want that to be a little bit lower. But I use them a lot. I like them under. I really like them under alcohol markers too, because they just seem to kind of dissolve with the alcohol ink, and they also just kind of disappear under watercolor as well. So I just like it for both of those reasons. But their erasers are not, their erasers like a number 2 pencil eraser. I really don't like them. I find they smudge on my watercolor paper a little bit. So there, that's pretty good. So we've got our, hopefully that shows up. Just a simple glass. I'm going to draw in some ice cubes. I actually did some porch painting the other day. That's basically when I sit on my porch and I do some painting. It is exactly what it sounds. And I had done some cocktails from a magazine, and I was like, oh, this was fun. So I wanted to be able to use a photo that I had permission to use and do something like that for a tutorial. I thought it would be really kind of fun. And you've kind of have the ice cubes will distort the water line there a little bit. Lots of ice in here. It's kind of fun to paint ice. And the neat thing is this kind of has a little bit of a two-toned effect. And I thought these watercolors would work really well for that, because I'm getting ready to review these. I've done a few paintings with them. They are the Regina's watercolors, and they make them from Dr. P.H. Martin Hydrus liquid watercolors, but then they add a medium to them that makes them, I'm just going to draw the inside of that fruit, get the pith away from it a little bit. They make them with their binder plus the Dr. P.H. Martin's ink, so it's kind of interesting. It's kind of cool. And the thing that I've noticed about these is that the color will stay where you put it, The brush I'm using right here, I get asked about these a lot. This is my prototype for the brush line I have coming out with Craft Ammo. It's supposed to be out this month. There's been a delay in the packaging in the boxes, so so I'm just kind of waiting for that. But as soon as they're available, I will let you know. There is a kind of like a notify me when available. It's not a pre-order. You can't order them yet, but you can sign up to get an email when it's when they're ready for purchase. So I'll put that link down below if you want to check that out. I'm going to just kind of, there's like a little bit of a pressed glass design here on the bottom. I just want to get that in there. Actually, it does go up a little bit further. So, all right, I'm going to start here. I've got my swatch card that came with my set of watercolors from Regina's Watercolors. So that's really, it comes plain and you paint it out yourself. But that's really important to do because it can be really tricky to tell what color these are because the paints are so translucent. So I'm going to start off a little bit. I think I need both of those blues. So these colors are actually made from 11 of the Dr. P.H. Martin's inks. Or, I'm sorry, Hydrus watercolors. They're not inks, they're watercolors. And they have recipes and stuff like that on their YouTube channel, so they're not trying to hide anything. You know, they are very transparent, pun intended. They're very transparent about their watercolors and what they use to make them. And so I really like that. I don't like it when brands try to pull one over on people. And these guys are really transparent about that. I'm going to go in with a little bit of the amethyst now. Just want to get these colors from the from this drink. I think it's like a lavender lemonade or something. It was so pretty, and I'm like, oh, that would just be such a nice, fun, refreshing thing to paint. I love the colors. So there's a little bit of flow here, but I feel like it's really easy to control. I'm just kind of outlining the ice a little bit. Now I'm going to go in with more of a, oh, by the way, look at this. I used an old toothbrush to clean my paint puck. Look how nice that looks. Isn't that pretty? I mean, there's still some stains on it, but it's way nicer. It was so disgusting. It was like the inside of it. I touched the inside of the cup and it was slimy. It was so gross. Oh my gosh, guys. I'm glad we're friends and we can talk about our disgusting habits. It was so gross. Oh my gosh. It was so gross. But I'm like, And you know what? I wish I took a before picture. Actually, I should have done a tutorial on how to clean your paint puck. But I actually didn't know if it was gonna work. I used lava soap on an old toothbrush, and what I'll do, well, I don't have a dishwasher anymore, but when I did, I would just take, like, if a toothbrush was like ready to be replaced, I would just throw it in the dishwasher and sanitize it, and I would use it for artsy purposes. Adding some of this pink down here. Or cleaning purposes. Because why not, you know? It's like, doesn't matter if if I'm going to use it just for, like, cleaning the grout. I mean, it doesn't matter that it was a toothbrush before. By the time I'm done, all of the cleaning stuff to it, right? A little bit more of this purple in there, get some of those lines. I'm going to get some of this color. It's, is it called Stone or Storm? My swatch is a little bit further away from me than I would like, but I just need to see the colors really. But I have some new glasses coming. I'm not sure when they'll be here, hopefully this week, maybe it might be next week because of the holiday, but had an eye appointment. I ordered some new glasses. They're actually bifocals. So, yep. It said I could get reading glasses that would just be that like bifocal strength because my distance vision isn't too bad. Or I could get progressives, but some people have a hard time adjusting to progressives, and I don't really need to wear them all the time. So it's mostly like painting even. I'll take my glasses off because I do have a pair of glasses. I've just kind of like I don't focus as well now that I'm in my mid-40s. And so I would actually take them off to read the computer. I'd wear them if I was driving, so I guess they did help in the distance a little bit, but I didn't find like they helped very well like at the computer. I'd wear them when I was painting, but honestly I've been finding like I was seeing better without them. So they said with my astigmatism, actually my eyes were doing better at close-up, but still not as good as I wanted to. I was trying to like make some jewelry the other day, and I could not see like where the split on the jump ring was I was trying to open, and I was like, oh my word, because I hadn't made jewelry in a while, so I didn't know how bad it had gotten. But luckily I had my appointment already made. I hoped to get in earlier, but I had an appointment and everyone got COVID, so, and then I got COVID. And I was going to call them anyway and just let them know the household situation, because I figured they probably wouldn't want me to come in if I had exposure in my household, but I ended up getting it anyway, so you know, that was a moot point. So I was bummed because that like delayed me getting an eye appointment for a couple of months, because there was such a wait, because I was a new patient, because it'd been so long since I'd been in there, because I don't like to go to the doctors. And between you and I have a mammogram appointment tomorrow that I have almost canceled about 20 times because I'm so freaked out about it. The great thing about COVID was that like I could just be like, yeah, I'm not going to go to the doctors because, you know, it's safer at home. Now I can't use that excuse. Oh, let me get a paper towel here. I'm going to crinkle it. Actually, I probably should have done this sooner. I'm just going to dab my icy areas. Ooh, that worked really well. Look at that. These paints actually have a little more flow than I thought they did. I'll show you the couple other paintings I did with these. I mean, you'll see that if you watch the review. I will show you all the paintings I've done with this so far. And you know, I was thinking they didn't flow that much, but you know, they do flow all right. I'm gonna have to do an actual flow test, because now I'm like kind of second guessing my my beliefs here. They lift up pretty well. I haven't done a lift test or anything. I gotta do a proper swatch on my own watercolor paper I usually swatch on, just to compare. Oh, you know what I think would look really nice with this? I want to do some subtle lifting, but I don't like to do that with my regular watercolor brushes. I like to use my golden Taklon brushes. Oh, there they are. Something like this, or a nylon brush, because they're just a little bit stiffer, and that way and they're more durable, quite frankly, and it doesn't work quite as well. Look at that, how it gives us that really nice kind of pressed glass. Isn't that neat? I'm just wiping my brush off. If it gets contaminated, you can go ahead and wash it. Ooh, I love it. So this is my like I said, World Watercolor Month's painting for today. I could blot it out more with like a folded paper towel, but I don't want it super duper bright. I feel like I got those two lines a little bit too close together, but I think it'll be fine. I'll just nudge them. So I've been using this small 4x4 sketchbook for World Watercolor Month this year because, honestly, oh, I just opened a little shop, or opened a booth in a shop, I should say, with my daughter. And I'm the type of person where if an opportunity comes up, I need to just jump on it, because if I don't, then I hem and haw, and then I don't end up doing it. And so when the opportunity came up, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be there. And I also don't like to waste any money. So if like, and the rent is like month to month. So I'm like, well, I'm going to be up and ready July 1st. And so I was, and actually we had our booth all up and ready, and the shop owner didn't even have all of her stuff ready for the other vendors. She hasn't, like, they're opening today. So today is July 5th. And, she was actually a little bit behind getting her other vendors in and whatnot. But I'm the type of person that, oops, that went into the wet paint there. I'm just going to blot that up. But I'm like, if I stop and think about something for too long, then chances are I'm not going to do it. And I just know that about myself. So it's like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to bite the bullet and do it. Ew. What the heck did I do there? I got into something. I didn't mean to. No worries. So anyway, so I was working on that and completely like forgot that it was like July 1st. This was like last Friday, and that it was World Watercolor Month. And I'm like, oh, am I going to be able to do this? And the first day was train. That was like the first day. And it was like 9 o'clock, and we were all going to watch, because the new Stranger Things had just come out, so we were all going to watch that. And I'm like, okay, Stranger Things at 9 o'clock, movie date with the fam. And so I just grabbed my sneakers and I grabbed a jump rope that was just sitting on my bedroom floor. I'd love to say that I use it a lot, but I don't think I've ever used it. But there it is. There it sits like a beacon, like a reminder of my failures. I didn't leave it there. It's not my jump rope, but still, I could be using it. But anyway, so I just threw my sneakers and my jump rope on this. Actually, I don't know if it's my jump rope. I don't know the provenance of that jump rope. But anyway, I threw it on a step stool that was right next to my desk, and I just sketched them. And I'm like, okay, I'm in the game. I'm in the game. Just like I said, like I gotta just jump on it. If I don't jump on it and do it, then I'll talk myself out of it. Because like any sane person would be like, Lindsay, you are busy. Why are you doing this? Because I want to. I like it. I see great value in doing World Watercolor Month and doing Inktober and those sorts of things. I enjoy them. But I had this, I found this small sketchbook. Rosie had sent me a bunch of different sketchbooks, and I came across this. I don't really like that, so I'm just kind of blending it together. And like, that'll be perfect because that's not overwhelming. That is definitely a size I can deal with, and yeah, I'll do that. So this one down here, this slice is a little bit thicker and it's a little bit warmer in color. Going to be careful not to touch it into the wet paint. Gosh, I'm chatty today. Hope nobody minds. I guess you can mute me. You can mute me or speed up the video using the little gear on the bottom of the page. Isn't that a nice option? It's a better option than complaining, I think, that I'm going too slow or going too fast. It's the control in the viewer. I'm going to do a little lemon on its own. These are all made from 11 colors. So the other benefit to that is that it's really hard to make a mud because or to make discordant combinations, because all the convenience colors are mixed from the 11 colors, so you end up with colors that coordinate really well. You can just buy the 11 colors in a set and mix yourself. That's a great option. But I sound like a salesperson. I'm not. I have no skin in the game. I don't make anything if you buy these products. I'm just telling you what I think. All right, so I'm going to let this dry while the annoying water pump does its thing, and when we come back, we'll finish it up. I added a little clip there in the corner. These are available at the Dollar Tree, pack of 6 for $1.25. I've even seen them cheaper in like other department stores for like $1, and they're just a rubberized clip, and they're really nice because they're not as strong as binder clips, so they don't like dent your paper. I highly recommend having a set of those. They don't leave marks. Just really handy and easy to open and close if you have any strength issues. And like a binder clip can sometimes be too hard to open. So now we're going to go through here and we're going to add some details. I'm still going to use this number 8 round here because it comes to a nice sharp point, but if it holds too much water for you, you can go with a smaller brush. I'm going to pretty much stick to the colors I have on my mixing area, I think, for this. I want to get kind of I'm kind of not used to working on such a small item. I know it's going to want to come out of focus for a minute. What I want to do is just pull a stroke on the ridge. Just to kind of give it a little bit of a sharpness there. And you can do, oops, I went a little too far there. You can do a little bit of a lost and found. That's a little too flat, to be honest, but I think it'll be fine. Maybe I'll make it come up a little bit on the side so it's not so flat. when you're painting glass, a lot of it is just kind of like, it's kind of just finding these kind of lost and found edges. Gonna make the waterline go up a little bit here where it's hitting that ice cube. Just can add some like little reflections because right, ice cubes are kind of like prisms and they will bend the light a little bit. They will pick up the color from in the drink. A little bit more of the pink. And then I can go around the ice cubes a little bit. That's a little dark. I play it by ear most of the time. If something looks like it wouldn't work in my drawing, even though that's how it looks in the picture, then I'll just do it how I think will look best in my drawing or my painting, if that makes sense. Just get some of those kind of faceted edges of the ice cubes and it will look like there's ice in the drink. Let's see, I'm using that fuchsia. The fuchsia is not a very mobile color, meaning it doesn't flow quite as well as some of the other colors. So if you want to have your color stay put, that's a really nice way to get that effect. So if you're wondering how do you know what colors are going to flow and what colors are not going to flow, well, the best way to figure that out is by doing a flow test. And what you do is you just put down, like, I can show you here, I started this flow test. You put down like a swath of water and then you add the color to the top and you see how much of it pulls down if you tip your paper or even if you leave it flat. But I like to tip it a little bit and you'll see some colors flow really well, some don't flow as well. And it kind of, you can get a feel for the movement. Generally, like your earth tones or more opaque colors will flow less. They're just heavier with the pigment. Generally, your more transparent or dye-based colors, I don't even say dye-based, but like organic pigments, organics and synthetic organics will flow a little bit better. And like your quinacridones and your phthalos and stuff. But then it can also be down to what the paint maker is using in their vehicle. If they're using like a heavy binder, if they're using any fillers are going to slow down the flow. Gum arabic could slow it down a little bit. Oxgall or other detergents will increase it. So it really comes down to those variables, what kind of look you're going to get, what kind of flow you're going to get. I'm going to go for this really bright purple here. It's kind of like an inky purple. Add a little magenta to that. I want to get some of these more intense swirly colors. I can have all my facets going the same height. They are alternating on the reference photo, but I thought it might just make a little more sense to keep them a little bit more uniform, have less, I feel like there's enough going on in this picture without getting too crazy into the design on the facets. I just made a choice. I made a choice, guys. You can make a different choice. I don't know if I made the right choice. I'm just painting some lemonade, guys. Give me a break. It's been a long week. It's been a long month, but it's only like the 6th. So I'll have some of that darker color right around the facets. I'm trying to decide whether this has a big drying shift or not. It's one of those things. I mean, there's so much you can learn from doing a swatch, but you're not going to learn everything you need to know about a paint by doing the swatch. You really need to paint with it. I feel like there's a drying shift. More so than I would get with the Hydrus liquid watercolors. nice to go with the review, I think, because that would, you know, people can see one of the demo paintings done in action and hear real-time observations. Real-time observations and random quips about my life. Where don't you sign, right? I want my money back, Lindsay. Sorry about that. My channel's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. But actually, I'm feeling much calmer now. Thanks, guys. I don't know what it is. You know, I can be really wound up, but it is so calming to just sit down with the paint. I'd like to take some of this magenta, actually, and work it into the lemons. I'm going to work some of the purple into the pith, especially up here because I need a little bit of a shadow. I'm not totally sure about the facets there. I'm not really liking them. I think I might tone them down a little bit, but I'm gonna wait a bit. But I might kind of brush over them and pull some color onto them because I'm not quite loving it. But sometimes just, you know, you just gotta let things dry, and because there's a little bit of a shift on these colors drying, I think it might be enough to make it not seem so garish once it's dry. Like, this looks really dark up here, this purple, but I think it's gonna dry much lighter. I had a pretty big drying shift with those Schmincke colors that I reviewed this week, or like on Monday. But then I got a couple comments saying that there was some odd batches with Schmincke and the color payoff wasn't that good, and they were thinking that I might have gotten a bad batch. So that could be because I had some old tubes of Schmincke and they're much brighter, and I actually put some of those pans down the center of that palette. So obviously, if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, if you go, I'm actually going to lighten that up a little bit. If you go to my video review for the Schmincke Whiskey Painter's Travel Palette, I posted earlier this week, you'll see what I mean. And I was kind of, and I think I said, because I filmed this a couple weeks ago, that if I didn't know these were Schmincke paints and what I paid for them, and it was just kind of like a blind taste test type thing, I don't think I'd be that impressed with Schmincke paints. I bought it mainly because I really wanted that palette. I've wanted that palette for a long time, and to buy the Whiskey Painter's Flask palette on its own was pretty much as expensive as getting it with the Schmincke paints in it. And I bought it from Blick. I didn't buy it from like a no-name seller on the internet. I bought it from Blick Art Materials. I would be very disappointed, honestly, if that was my first and only foray into Schmincke paints. I would be like, I don't know about this brand, but it's not. I've used other paints of theirs. I've used their Academy. Actually, they didn't seem better than the Academy. I mean, they were fine, and I'm wondering, I didn't pre-activate them. It wasn't so much a review of the paints, to be honest. It was because I have reviewed Schmincke paints before, the tubes. It was more of a review of that particular palette because, you know, I bought it for the palette and buy it for the paints. I mean, I was glad to have artist grade paints in it. Like, I bought the Cotman field box for the palette, not for the paints, and I'm going to replace the paints in that one. Nothing against Cotman, but the colors they picked for their field palette was not that wonderful. It was kind of, I don't know if they went with paints that were cheaper to make. I think they did, but like the paint they chose, they could have picked way better colors from their line that were way more useful for that palette. And honestly, I think Schmincke could have too. But they kind of choose a certain type of color. Like they love sepia. Schmincke loves sepia. Somebody that works there loves sepia, and I really don't like sepia for a watercolor. I wouldn't mind it in like an ink pen. I like the color of an ink pen, but personally, it's just kind of dull, I find, for a watercolor. I'd much rather have like a burnt sienna or a Mars brown or Van Dyke brown or something that's got a little bit more richness to it, and this is a single pigment color. Now I want to do a kind of a spillover shadow, and I think I'm just going to use this little. I just want to protect my next page of my sketchbook, basically. I should have drawn this a little bit taller. And I want to do just a little bit of like the light coming through the glass and sending some color. And I can do a shadow into the lemon while I'm at it, but I don't want to get it dripping onto the next page. And we'll have light and we'll have some color, and we can also have just some dark. I'm going to get the color in first. And then, let's see, I've used this color here, this storm. I'm going to see, can I mix, I think I can mix a dark from what I've used. I've also used this brighter yellow. I just need to not have a lot of water in with it. The pants feel a little strange. Oops, I didn't use that color. Because they're very sticky. They're very draggy on the brush. I think that will give me a nice black. Not a black, but you know what I mean, like a natural dark. This is more opaque, so I want to have a more opaque. Maybe with a little bit of blue colored. Oh, I used this color in there. Let's add that over here where it's a little bit darker, where I don't want it. I just don't want it to go brown on me. And we can have a very sharp bit of dark there. I just want to make sure that some of that color and light gets to poke through as well. And maybe I'll just use a paper towel just to wipe out a few little streaks. Fresh little area each time. Paper towel works better than a rag for this technique. And if you're wiping rather than dabbing, you gotta make sure you've got a robust paper like Arches or some other well-sized cotton paper. Okay. I have a little bit of fuchsia in there. My brush is pretty dry because I don't want it to flow too much. Getting a little sunbeam-ish action happening there. All right. I'm still going to leave that right there for, actually, you know what, maybe I don't need to. If I just kind of, you know what, I probably should. Oh, shoot. I just wanted to blot the edge of that, but, you know what, I goofed. I blotted too much. I was hoping I could just get that out of the way so it wouldn't be distracting. Actually, I should have cut over there a little bit more. Let me get the refine that edge a little bit. There, I could probably scrub that up a little bit. We'll see. Let's try. I like making fancy lemonades. That's kind of fun. I think I do want a smaller, oh, you know what, maybe I'll use this flat. Okay, I gotta look at my swatch sheet here. Maybe this is the color I meant to get when I went for the other one. Let's see. I just kind of want I want more of a painterly vibe in here. I think that maybe I can get a little bit better depiction of the ice and the glass if I have a flat. I did the back of the glass pretty dark because it's the darker background, but now I'm regretting it because it's doesn't really make sense now. I should have had that. I should have left that clear. These flat brushes, these nylon flats, do not hold as much water, so you can pick up quite a bit of paint and you can just kind of like slap it in. Your brush strokes will remain where you've put them a little bit better because they don't have a lot of water to make it travel. Not sure about those facets, to be honest. I think I'm going to need a gel pen for the upper ridge. Get a nice dry brush effect with this though. I'm wondering if I can, I'm going to pull a little bit of this up here into the fruit as well. I don't see it in the reference photo, but I think it would capture some of that. I think maybe even some up here. I feel like I want to maybe soften up those facets a little bit maybe. I'm just not very happy with them. They're a pretty easy paint to use though, because they don't have uncontrollable flow. I'm going to do a little bit of that brighter blue, delphinium is what they call it, in there. And I think honestly at this stage, I'm going to dry it and then go in with just a white gel pen because I feel like it's getting pretty thick and I'm losing a lot of the freshness that I wanted to have here. You know what I mean? And I think that the key with the World Watercolor Month sketches is that I want to keep it quicker, and we're already at like 40 minutes, which is more than I really want to spend on the World Watercolor sketches. Because I want it to be doable. I want it to be something I can do each day. I got my favorite white gel pen here. This is the Uniball Signo, the broad one. I've used others, and I find others are a little hit or miss. I just feel like this one is a lot more predictable as far as working every time. You can get 3 packs of these. I would recommend if you're going to order these online, Amazon does a 3-pack for like $6, so it's about $2 a pencil. I would recommend, well, you could have one for your travel bag and one for home, but I would really recommend that if you're going to use these at home, only have one going at a time, because it's once you open them, you've got a limited amount of time to use them. Just want to catch that ridge. And I'm doing hit or miss because I'm not 100% confident in my ellipse drawing. And for the see, I'm kind of eking the facets a little bit to the left or the right depending on how poorly I drew them. See, I show you how the sausage is made. I'll show you how to fix your mistakes. Let's face it, we all make them. Especially if we're drawing quickly, you know, where we're just trying to get like the impression of the thing down. I guess it's not, hasn't been terribly quick, but doing like kind of the shorter strokes will give you kind of more of that that reflected glass look. I probably could even have a little yellow onto the glass because the light could bounce and you would have some light from the lemon. Make some little texture on the rind, just with little dots. You can lighten up some of the pith, let some light show through. Yeah, gel pen is the fast sketcher's friend, for sure. I'm kind of wondering maybe I should put something in the background to act as a contrast. Why not? You know what? Let's give it a try. Either if I ruin it, I ruin it. Big deal. You know? I'm still going to leave the video up because I'll probably just do a screen capture from before I ruin it. But, you know, the thing is, you'll know, right? You'll know whether you want to do it. So there's just kind of some like some blues and greens in the background, probably like, you know, a pool. They're probably sitting out by the pool having a drink. Man, I wish I had a pool. I had a pool growing up. It was the best. Of course, it was the best for me because I was a rotten kid and, you know, I didn't have to clean it. It probably wasn't the best for my parents. My mom who cleaned it. But for me, it was the best. Okay, I'm not going to go right to the edge because I like to have a little bit of a deckly border. This brush is also going to be in my set. They're going to have red handles, but they will have the rose gold ferrules, and all the bristles will be the same. But what happened was I had to send a couple. I got my first demo, my first prototypes, and I had some changes. It was a couple I wasn't happy with, and so they had used a different color with the new ones they sent me. I'm like, oh, I actually like that color because I was kind of trying to decide between burgundy and this coral, but I don't really like the coral. It's kind of nice, I guess, but to me it looks like nude nail polish, you know. And it's like, I think I'd rather go. This is the color they're going to be right here. Isn't that pretty? I love it. It's just so glossy and red. I know it's kind of like, I don't want to say standard, but it's more. I guess it's more of like kind of a. Well, no, I don't know if I have any ruby red brush handles. I definitely have, oh, that's pretty. I definitely have ones that are kind of like burgundy. Actually, burgundy is one of my favorite colors, and that was one of the colors I was going for originally, but then I was thinking, oh, coral would be pretty, and I didn't know if they could do coral. And they sent this, and like, we can tweak the color, but then when they sent me the ones I needed fixed or changed, I love that color, and I'm like, ooh, I want to do that. I'm going to use some of this delphinium color. Delphinium's a flower that's got it's got kind of a spiky shape, and it's got beautiful blue colors. That's got some good flow. I want to give the hint of like a pool. Give some sky in there too. Ooh, you know what? I could do some, is there like a yellow ochre? It's not really a good yellow ochre in this kit. That would be a qualm that I would have. Take some cattail and mix it with a yellow that I've already used. And then with the fuchsia, see if I can get it. The mustard is just not very, Not exactly what I want. But I just want to put a background in here, and I want to let some little sparkle of the paper show. I think I'll need to go darker up higher, but I do want to wipe out a little bit of maybe like little tabletop. I don't want it the same height as the lemon. I want it a little bit higher. I'm going to do that. I think that'll work. It'll be a soft edge, but that's fine. I wiped off the extra water on my brush so I could just go in and place down some color and it wouldn't flow too crazily or give me backgrounds. Okay, while the top is still pretty wet, I'm going to go in a little bit darker with some colors. I love that green poking through, but I do need some darker contrast. I'm going to take the Storm color. The thing I'm having a little bit of challenge with this paint is is not getting too much water, especially if I'm not using, like, if I'm using my softer faux squirrel brushes. Because the softer brushes just hold so much water, so if you've got a paint that's not really strong, not really robust, I'm adding a little bit of that color to the background of the glass, it can, you know, dilute it too much. So if you're using like student grade watercolors, that could give you a hard time. You would want to like probably pre-spray your colors, make sure they're nice and activated. I think I'll leave that kind of straight there because that does kind of look like it could be a pool, right? Straight edge. This is turning into way longer of a video than I intended. I'm going to do some of that pretty color, that pretty green. I'm going to add some of that lemony color to it. I'm glad you can't see my water containers. I managed to get both of them dirty. I'm not being very careful with my water cup management. These are held into the palette with magnets, and as you can see, they can be pulled up, although it's the first time that's happened. I still think I need to go a little bit darker in some of these areas. I feel like I need that contrast. And that can be kind of a scary thing when you're going from having everything... Actually, I'm bringing this down further. When you're going from having everything kind of like a mid-tone and light, and then you add in a dark, it can be very disorienting, and it can be hard to get contrast because then you have everything in your mid-tones, because it can be scary to go really dark. One thing I'm also curious about these paints is how long they last. These are the smaller pans. You can get a double, a size that's twice as big as that. Like if you got the 11 color set, it would have pans that were twice as big. You can order half pans, just regular half pans, and put them in your own palette too. That's, and they're pretty affordable, honestly. Like half pans are $6, which, you know, for handmade watercolor isn't bad. I'm adding a little bit of this color into the drink to kind of cross-pollinate my colors a little bit, especially in towards the back side. I don't like that waterline. I feel like that is really off, but I'm gonna leave it. I think that's all right. Okay, so now I could try the white, and I could actually put some highlights, some like ice cube highlights in there. why don't we try it with our flat brush? Why not, you know? We've used white gel pens, so I'll better cap that up too. I want it to last as long as I can. But yeah, that's my tip with the white gel pens is only have one open at a time. Like I did a big workshop once and we needed the white gel pens for them. So I knew I was going to have like 18 open, maybe it was 24 open white gel pens. So I just let my students take them home because I'm like, I know I didn't have another workshop with that material coming up. And I'm like, they're just going to go to waste if I bring them home. If you add white, because it can look really strange. I don't know if I like that. Make sure you do it in a few places. So I'm going to add it to the pith of the that lemon. I think I'll just add a little bit into some of the segments up here. It's fun to try it and see how it does, you know. I'm going to take some of that white, actually mix it with some of that blue, because I've got a really pretty kind of like bounced color here. I'm wondering if the blue is actually maybe coming from the swimming pool more than from the drink itself. So now we got a little bit of gouache going on. All right, one more dry, then a little touch up with a gel pen. You can always go in with a regular pen, like a fine liner, if you feel like you want to, you know, you want to add some darker lines, you want to sharpen that up a little bit more, you can always do that. And one more reminder, 46% off with coupon code HB46 in my school from now until the 12th. So you can go check that out if you've had a class on your mind that you've wanted to take. Remember, lifetime access, all my full classes, so everything except the Critique Club membership, all my full classes have lifetime access. So if you know it's summer, you're not going to have time to paint, but you get a long winter ahead and you will have time, then you can grab one of those classes, because that'll be the cheapest any non-launch class will be. So when I launch a class at 50% off, so that my subscribers get the best deal ever. And then the next best sale that you'll ever encounter after that would be a birthday sale. So it's a good time to stock up if you know you're going to have some time in your hands later on and you want to be able to do some classes. So I want to sharpen this up, and if it's too white, I can just go over it with the yellow. So don't worry about it being too, hopefully my head's not in the way. Man, I'll be so glad to get my new glasses. Oh man, you have no idea. It's funny, it's like finding that sweet spot where things come into focus. When you're in your about 45, I guess. And it was just about, I think it was about 45 and a half was when I really started to notice, like, holy cow, I am not seeing, like, I mean, I've always had glasses for, not always, but I had glasses for a long time for, like, I try to eke this down a little bit. I've had glasses for quite a while. I'm just going to try to disrupt this little water line. Hopefully the ice cubes can kind of make it kind of make sense. Get the places where the ice cubes are touching the glass. Distract. Abort. Abort mission. Distract the eyes. Oh, you know what? I should have a little bit of that dark color through that hole in the lemon too. So yeah, so all those little tweaks and tips. I'm just going to use a small brush though. I'm not going to be a hero. There. I like that. All right. I think I'll call that a day. What do you think? I think it's kind of cute. Wait till I see it with glasses. That'll be awful if I get these new glasses and then I look at my artwork and I'm like, oh, that's not good. It looks a little crooked in my viewfinder, but I think it's okay. Oh, I don't know, guys. It was fun, though. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. You know what I think it needs? I think it needs a little bit of a fuchsia purple. Line right, just a crisp separation line right here. You know, painting's fun though, and sometimes you just want to keep playing, and usually that happens when I'm not recording because I'm just kind of like zoning out. But I think I just needed really some art therapy with you guys today, so it's stuff I had to get off my chest, you know. I think, you know, when you're stressed out and you're nervous, it just helps to talk it out. Even if, you know, you're talking with your, I don't want to say imaginary friends because you guys are real, but it's like, you know, even if it's kind of like a one-sided conversation, that's really how therapy works. You know, the therapist won't talk back to you. So I'm told. Well, thanks for being my therapist. Checks in the mail. Yeah, you totally just kind of futz with it and just, oh yeah, play and just have a good time. That's what it's about, just having a good time. I love monthly challenges because, I don't know, you end up painting things that you probably wouldn't have otherwise because, you know, like a theme like welcome, it's like, how would I have gotten to this? Well, I might have painted this because I had this in my like kind of a save for later type file on Unsplash, but this definitely gave me the urge to do it. I've been working for my own reference photos and my own reference, just sitting and observing things too, which is really nice. But this was fun too because I wanted to paint this. But there you go. This time, I mean it, I'm done. And it was not quick. It was a small painting. 4" by 4" painting. Is it 4x4 or 5x5? Oh, I guess it's closer to 5x5. But still, it was small. It was fun. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And check out my sale if you are looking for some classes. Thanks for watching. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye.